live for the typical, usual 1 a.m. live stream. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you all so much for being here. Take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know how it's going. These 1 a.m. streams, I just hang out and chat. I don't have anything specific to talk about. Rather, it's just whatever you guys want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, I would love to hear them. So let's give it a few minutes. Let's see who joins. What is up, your local Spurs? How's it going? I hope that you are doing well. Thank you for joining. Well, that can't be healthy. Get some sleep. Don't be going 6 days without sleep. Get yourself some sleep, because that sounds quite terrifying to me, to be honest. So, just a few more days and I'm going to be in jolly old Newcastle. I can't wait. I love to travel. It's been a little while since I've taken any big trips, taken lots of small trips, and I've been really lucky to take all of them. But it'll be nice to finally take some bigger trips once again. So I'm looking forward to it very much. I've been playing, what is Clash Royale? Going to school is very good. You should go to school. I do not know what Clash Royale is, but it sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, I've seen it a few times. I've been to Toronto fairly regularly. I used to actually spend a fair bit of time in downtown Toronto, but it's been a while. But I think if you're talking the Nathan Phillips Square, that's Toronto. Yeah, that's Toronto City Hall, right? If I recall correctly. Yes, yeah, I've seen it. I used to go a lot of times. What I would do, just because of the way the travel worked, is I would travel between Windsor, Ontario, and Ottawa, and I would usually, sometimes, or actually fairly regularly, I would end up taking the train up halfway and then the bus the rest of the way, and I would wheel from the Toronto train station, Union Station, to the Toronto bus station on the corner of Dundas, and I'd pass by the City Hall pretty constantly. I miss the Toronto bus station. It was a very interesting bus station, um, but it was a lot of fun. I spent a lot of time in that Toronto downtown bus station on the corner of, if I recall correctly, Bay and Dundas Street. I think, anyways. Yes, I don't think it still is there anymore. Bringing back the memories. Well, Lucifer, that was kind of funny. Dennis, welcome. Thank you for being here. Well, why would I tell a bot what my blood type is if you are, in fact, a bot? You don't need to know. Although I do donate my blood regularly. I donate my blood. Actually, I used to donate it more. I got to get back in and do another blood donation. But I do think blood donations are incredibly important, and everybody should do it if you can. So, donate your blood. Welcome back, World Cleanup. Good to see you again. To donate blood, Dennis, what's the crazy thing you've heard all day? Other than beep, bop, beep. I cannot prove I'm not a robot, Chris Hansen. You're just going to have to assume I am not a robot. Zeke, I do not. Chris Hansen, that is very true. Oh, well, maybe he's just curious. Maybe he wants to clone me. Who knows? This is kind of like one of those discussions I always have when it comes to Freemasonry. I'm always pointing out to people, they'll say like prove Freemasonry is not evil, and it's like how do you prove a negative or disprove a negative, right? So of course I can't disprove that I'm not a robot. You'll just have to take my word for it, I guess. Oh my gosh, I think the old Toronto bus station is now a mosque. Huh. That's crazy. I mean, great. I mean, like I said, I have many Muslim brothers. It's amazing how it's changed so much. I'm going back on Google Maps because now I'm trying to remember if it used to be a mosque or used to be, or what. I'm trying to remember where the bus station used to be. Going back down memory lane. Prove to me I don't deserve that kidney. You need a kidney, Bob, but I can't help you. You're on your own. You don't want my kidney. My kidney's not cool. I don't know who you are. Well, thank you, Jasper. Please hit like and subscribe. Tell you what, Chris Hansen, if you give me a 99-cent super chat, I will tell you my blood type. How about that? That's the best I can offer. You deserve that kidney. I hope you get a kidney, but you just can't have mine. I'm sorry. I don't know you. We probably wouldn't be matching. I don't think it's just a blood type thing. Yes, just 99 cents. If you donate 200, I will do nothing different. I will still just tell you my blood type, just for the record. I was trying to think what for 200, but no. You'll give it up to Dopey. I mean, I will take it. I am, in fact, Dopey from Snow White. I have WhatsApp, but I never use it. Honestly, I don't even know my number on WhatsApp. I never use it. Dr. Dandruff Podcast, please hit like and subscribe. I am here to chat about Freemasonry. So any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. And I hope that you are doing well. I don't believe you, Chris Hansen. Dreamcatcher, welcome back. It's been a little while since I've seen you. I hope that you're doing well. Thank you for joining once again. Oh, I was wrong. No, it looks like it's actually, I wish it was 279 cents. It's probably closer to 79 cents than 279 cents. But thank you nonetheless. What is the Black and White Masonic League? I'm not sure to what you're referring there. If you're referring to the black and white tiles that you often see in Masonic lodges, or referring to Prince Hall Freemasonry. As I cough up. What do you mean by Black and White Masonic League? If you know, you know. Well, I'm sorry, but I do not know what Black and White Masonic League refers to. Okay, so the tile. Okay, so the black and white tiles or the mosaic pavements that often exist within lodges, they have a couple different meanings. In emulation ritual, it most often is referred to mosaic pavement or mosaic, mosaic pavement or the mosaic. It usually references this idea of the uncertainty of life, how kind of today you can be doing really well, tomorrow you can be doing really not so well, and in all times to remain calm, right? Not to get too presumptuous in times of success, nor despondent in times of failure or difficulty. Oftentimes in York or Preston Webb, it tends to represent more duality of good and evil very often. Um, well, it has private rituals, certain private elements that I won't share. A lot of stuff, though, what people think to be private is not the case. Just for the record. So very often people think more is private than it actually is. There are certain things, though, that I do maintain privacy because it helps bond me to my brothers. No, JB, that is not the case. I hope everybody watching this is doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you're new to the stream. Let me know how you're doing. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear them. Well, I can't help my looks, I suppose. Well, there are many reasons to maintain, right, privacy of different things. In some cases, it's I would never ask somebody like so world cleanup. I never say like, can you give me your bank account information on the stream? That stuff is private. In that case, you're maintaining it privacy for your own security. Other times, you maintain privacy for financial reasons. Within Freemasonry, we maintain the privacy of our ceremonies and rituals as a way to preserve the bonds of fellowship and brotherhood between past and future generations of Freemasons. So your Pops is an operative Mason, a real Mason. Very cool. Good for him. It's a hard job, right? I have a lot of respect. It takes a lot of skill to be a stonemason and to be able to build things kind of like walls. So good for him. I've read Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. I'm trying to read it again, but I'm busy, John Doe. But I've read Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike on a few different occasions now. You're stalking me. You're the one who's here, FDF. I'm a Freemason all the time. Never been to prison. Actually, that's not true. I worked in a jail. I worked in a jail for about 5 years. No, we do not worship the devil. We do not worship. I mean, Freemasonry is not a religion, so there's no like single entity which we worship. Rather, each Mason may have his own supreme being, which he believes in, and will worship in his own way, whether it's attending a church, a mosque, a synagogue, whatever it is. But Freemasonry is not a religion in that sense. Are you still referring to Albert Pike, John Doe? Which I think you might be. Or, I'm happy to talk about Freemasonry and bring it to light. I wish it was more in the light than it is, or more relevant to people's life. Thank you, Never Knows Best. I really appreciate that. It's wonderful to have you here, as always. And it's not done in secret, it's done in privacy. But again, you would not, for example, John Doe, share your bank information with me. That is done privately, but it's not nefarious. It's for valid reason. Zianx says hello. I hope you're doing well. And thank you for dropping off the like, Never Knows Best. I truly appreciate it. These streams, I just hang out and chat. Nothing specific to talk about. Just enjoying my time here. Well, I mean, if you're joining Freemasonry, you're going to take part in some private ceremonies. Like your initiation is a private ceremony exclusive to Masons. So, no, they're not exclusive to basically every rank within Freemasonry. There's different private ceremonies that are part of that rank, that are part of the advancement therein. We do not worship Baphomet, despite what conspiracy theorists like to say. So, just for the record. As above, so below. It's not a motto across Freemasonry, for the record. A lot of people think it is, thanks to Dan Brown. But the thing about as above, so below, right? It's not like, how do I put this? There's a lot of different jurisdictions within Freemasonry. Like in my jurisdiction, I never heard the phrase as above, so below, just for the record. How high must we go? Well, Skull and Bones, Dr. Dandruff, that is a different organization or fraternal group, right? I believe they are a college fraternity, primarily out of Yale. So there are similarities, obviously, in the sense that we're both, fraternities or have fraternal aspects to it. But I don't know anything about Skull and Bones in terms of their type of rituals or ceremonies that exist within that fraternity. I know every frat, I think, develops its own kind of symbols and history and, initiations, but I don't know anything about Skull and Bones in particular. Yeah, George Bush was a Skull and Bones, if I recall correctly. I think I saw that in the movie about him, the documentary. Interesting. So how am I being used as relatively speaking, lower degree? I'm an 18th degree. But in what ways, are lower degrees being used? And how could they really use us that well? I mean, I pay $100 a year to be a Mason. They can't do a lot with that $100. And as our numbers are dropping, there's very little that, nobody's, even if you took all the money from every Mason, you're not going to get that rich. You'd be better off owning a Fortune 500 company. I'm all the way there, Dr. Dandruff, because, as I've said on this stream before, the highest degree within Freemasonry is actually the third degree. That's the degree that matters the most. That's the degree through which that's the degree through which you become a worshipful master of a lodge, through which you can become an officer, which you can take part in all jurisdictions, take part in business meetings. It's the third degree that matters. After that, it's, they're honorary, or it's an honor to advance in Scottish New York Rite, but you're not any higher degree of Mason if you're a 33rd degree Mason than if you're an 18th degree Mason. And honestly, John Doe, why stop at 33? Memphis Mizraim, right? You could always go that high up if you wanted. Well, a third degree is the Master Mason degree, so it's definitely not initiation. That it would be the Entered Apprentice degree. I do not, Lewis. Well, that's the Scottish Rite symbol. I mean, I have that symbol. Hold on just one sec. Let me see if I can get it for you guys. Just because it looks kind of cool, so why not show it off a little bit? Here we go. Yeah, I got it here. I might as well show off my very cool Scottish Rite jewel. I got a bunch of, these are from Manitoba. The one in the back is from Israel. I've been lucky, right, to be able to travel around the world and see a lot of different Masonic events. I've been a Mason for about 20 years. In that time, I've got a chance to visit a ton of, over 1,000 Masonic events and ceremonies and meetings throughout Canada, United States, Mexico, Brazil, the Philippines, England, and pretty soon I'm actually going to be attending meetings in Scotland and in Bogota. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I agree, they are very nice. They're not get out of jail free. So I didn't go to Israel. I'm a member of a lodge in Israel. But I affiliated with them, so I didn't actually visit them in person yet. I want to go. It's somewhat on my list of places I really want to visit. Is at some point Tel Aviv, Israel, to attend the lodge there. But I became a member of it, and when I became a member of it, one of the things I received was this really awesome jewel. So, very proud of this jewel, as I am of all my Masonic jewels. This is from Manitoba, 150th anniversary. This is, again, Scottish Rite. I can show you my other jewels, which are pretty cool. Might as well for just a few moments. This is from the first lodge I was worshipful master of. And this is for my grandfather's jewel. And this is from another lodge I was a member of. So, got them all insured, by the way, just for the record. Because one thing that we in Freemasonry often forget to do is getting items like this properly insured. We might have them protected under general property insurance, but for items like this, we really need to be actually doing a better job at insuring them separately, or having a special carve out in our property insurance for them. So, just for the record, I try my best, Dr. Dandruff. I'm also proud of everything I've accomplished on this live stream and on this channel. If you could take a moment to hit the like and subscribe buttons and consider doing a 99-cent super chat, I would be greatly appreciated to help me turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession. Thank you, Dr. Dandruff. I appreciate that. Do you have any, before this stream, let's say, what are your thoughts on Freemasonry in general, just out of curiosity? And yeah, I feel very lucky to have accomplished all the things I have. It's a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights, but it's worth it, right? What is treason? Being a Freemason? Well, then save your money, but don't save your money for drugs. Try to get some help. I wouldn't, actually, I just had a whole stream about this, what it means to be a Mason and a citizen. I think that within Freemasonry, we are taught to, amongst other things, and I think it's a beautiful lesson, we are taught to be good citizens. Fire? I don't know what it looks like a gas can, I think, which sounds concerning to me. I have not bought any homes. I'd love to buy some homes, or a home anyways, but I can assure you, I can speak for myself, we're not buying all the homes, nor to my knowledge are any Masons buying all the homes. So I'm not aware to what you're referring. I suspect that is Millie Rock. I suspect that is false and a bit of a troll. Well, Manly P. Hall, actually, the interesting thing about Manly P. Hall that people don't realize is he wrote a lot of his works before he was a Freemason. He became a Freemason well after he published his most famous work, the name of which I can't recall now. I'm trying to think of what the name of that work was. The Secret Teachings of All Ages. He wrote that well before he was a Freemason. Um, and yes, we do not practice witchcraft within Freemasonry. Well, fair enough, FDF. I guess I'm not going to be able to convince you otherwise, but um, it is unfortunate that you are incorrect. Sluggins, well, that shouldn't stop you from hitting the like and subscribe button, whatever I might be. And consider doing a 99-cent super chat. I have no idea what that means. Nor do I know what 67 means. I keep hearing about that number, but I don't know to what it refers. I do not know who David Irving is, but I feel vaguely like I've heard that name before. I just can't think of it. I think of why. Is he does television, or is he a writer? I think he's a writer. Um, I think he might be a writer. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I just feel like I've heard that name before. Matthew, sure. Um, uh, Matthew Blake. Can one rejoin after leaving and not returning? I mean, sure. I'd have to know a little bit more about the nature in which you left. So, like, did you not tell the lodge you're leaving and just, leave and not respond to calls? Many people leave Freemasonry and return to it. So I guess I'll give you the short answer, which is if you left Freemasonry um, and you left while owing money, anything like that, you didn't pay your dues, you'll need to make that right, paying the dues that you owe. But just contact the lodge, explain what happened, explain why you left, and they can bring you back. It happens all the time, right? Well, Adam Weishaupt, he created the Illuminati in 1777. Sometimes coincidences are just coincidences. I did not know Blackstone was on the 33rd floor. So, sorry, Matthew. The quick answer is yes. I've seen it happen. Contact the lodge, explain what happened, and explain, why you want to come back. And if you did leave without paying your dues and you're owing money, then make sure you pay that back. But don't, I think a lot of times people leave, then they get, the more time passes, they get more nervous about returning to lodge, so they put it off, which means they get even more nervous because now more time has passed. So, for me, for what it's worth, just rip the Band-Aid off and talk to the lodge and approach them. So DJ, I'm going to call you DJ. I mean, I know a little bit about sacred geometry. The Plutonic solids, I'll tell you my favorite Plutonic solid is the tetrahedron. I actually did a poll question about that. In Freemasonry, we consider geometry to be synonymous with Freemasonry, because in order to be a successful stonemason, you had to have a very good understanding of geometry. And in fact, I've interviewed a few NASA scientists on this stream to talk about the Euclid space mission. And with a name like Euclid Space Mission, you see how important geometry is to our understanding of the universe. From Freemason's perspective, it's important as a teacher of morals, and from a operative or stonemason's perspective, it's important as part of their trade. Well, I don't know about free mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is disgusting, but there is the Order of Women Freemasons and Eastern Star. Um, to never go where? I do not know to what you're referring. I also do not know what a new earth is. Um, I hope there's not a new Earth. I really like this Earth. Yeah, but my favorite plutonic solid is the tetrahedron. I mean, cube as well because it's simple, it's nice, and it's my favorite movie. The other one is octahedron, dodecahedron, isosahedron, I think. Um, okay, very cool. I do not know who Fedor Emelianenko is, but I'm sure he's a handsome fella. I am not Cosborn, but please hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. It's great to have a whole bunch of new people on stream as well. Thank you for being here. Fubu, what is this new earth to which you refer? I do not know who Fedor from Russia is. I have no idea who this person is to whom we're referring. Is he a troublesome sort? Should I be concerned about the comparison? Oh, he's a mixed martial artist. I'll take it. He looks like a tough son of a gun. Anybody who says I look like an MMA fighter, I will say thank you for that. I mean, he could destroy me, I'm sure, but it's still very nice to get the comparison nonetheless. Actually, I train MMA. I'm going to MMA training tomorrow. Or I guess today, technically. It's 1:30 a.m. here, so in about 10 hours. JBM, this guy is Cameron Adamson talking about Freemasonry. Please hit like and subscribe. And consider a 99-cent super chat. Would be very nice as well. Oh, well, that's not good. But still, he was an MMA fighter. That means he was a tough son of a gun. I know, right? I mean, I actually am a professional wrestler, or I trained in professional wrestling as well, and I do some refereeing. If you type in Cameron Adamson referee, you can usually find my stuff. I can get off my chair and crawl around. I'm actually pretty mobile off the ground. So obviously I don't expect to be able to win any fights with my no legs, but I like to at least know some basic stuff. I don't think either. Um, I mean, I guess solar flares, I'm probably much more optimistic about AI than others. I tend to be pretty technology positive. I think overall technology has always been a net good for humanity, and I think AI will be the same. So that's my humble opinion on that. But I know I'm not really worried about either. I don't think we have a lot of solar flares happening, and I'm not too concerned about AI. Like I said, I think technology has generally demonstrated that it's good for humanity and it's helped humanity throughout history. Welcome, new Earthling. Just because you're a new Earthling doesn't mean you can't hit like and subscribe. Some people have said I look like Shrek. I've grown to accept it. Shrek was a handsome ogre. And I do not speak Persian. I wish I did. And Chris, as someone who was born in 1983 and so loved Terminator and Terminator 2, even like Terminator 3 a fair bit, but loved Terminator 2. If Skynet does happen, I'll be living my movie dreams. So, hey, there you go. I don't want to purr. I don't want to purr. I do not speak Persian. I do not speak French either. I'm Canadian, so you'd think I would. I do want to learn more languages. I wish I could speak more languages. I speak English and bad English at the moment, so I'm working on it. I did not know that. Chris Farley, legend. But at least it went to another SNL alum who are actually on at the same time. That's interesting to note. The voice of it, right? So that's kind of an interesting little point. Well, you got to give me a super chat, then you'll find out. Then I'll answer that question, I should say. If you give me a super chat, then I'll answer your questions. Um, Norm Macdonald is a great comedian. Norm Macdonald is, I mean, it's real sad he passed away. He's one of the all-time greats. To me, my favorite comedian, it goes up and down. Right now, probably Nate Bargatze would be one of my favorite comedians. So, um, and I'm impressed with him because he does all clean stuff, and yet he's hilarious. He was a comedian. He was Canadian. He was a comedian. He did a lot of sets on Conan O'Brien, David Letterman. He's got great. If you ever type in Norm Macdonald, Conan O'Brien, there's some really, really funny stuff out there. Um, I feel like Dirty Works became a cult classic. Like I was never a big fan of that movie. Still not really a big fan because I'm not a big fan of comedies per se. But I feel like that movie has become really popular in the last few years. Maybe because Norm passed away and there's this nostalgia attached to it. If AI robots, I mean, sure. I've not really thought about it. I wouldn't be opposed to having an AI robot. It's just one of those things where if it depends how much it would cost and what it could do. Um, no, Cindy, because I'm going to be closing off the stream pretty soon. This is a just short stream. These 1 a.m. streams are, I don't do them for very long. So, what you could do though, Cindy, is hit the like and subscribe button. I'd appreciate it if you've not already done so. Um, I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, as Sam Frost quotes some Smash Mouth. Oh, thank you, Lewis. That's very kind of you. It's 1:35 for me too, Chris. Uh, much appreciated. Hey, I mean, apology appreciated, apology accepted. My general rule is, I'll block people if I feel like they're being rude or disrespectful to other people on the stream, or if they are, using racist or sexist language. But I try to avoid blocking people as much as I can. So, thank you, Lewis. That's very kind of you. Um, I'm in Windsor, Ontario, Chris, so a little bit north of you. Afternoon, insert name. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. Hey, I feel very lucky to be born in 83 and be a teen in the 90s. 90s was a great decade. So were the 80s. Very underappreciated, just for the record. The 80s were awesome. As were the 90s, as were the early 2000s. All the best scary movies came out in the 80s and 90s. All the best music came out in the 80s or 90s. So, fight me on that. Freemasonry still had decent numbers, though nowhere near what it used to. The South Park reference. I never got into South Park. Um, DM, sure. 70s and 80s. Okay, they were great as well, but I mean, the 80s, you had the best music because you had rock and roll, you had the hair metal bands, which I love. You had the 80s slasher boom, and then the 90s, you had a great first half of the 90s, but then you had the crazy, just murderer's row, pun intended, of slasher flicks in the late 90s with, Scream, I Know You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, all those sequels. Halloween reinvented itself. It was just a great time for scary movies. Oh, Lewis with the punk. Okay. Hey, punk is good. I had never mind the what was the Sex Pistols CD? I had it when I was growing up. Never mind the bollocks. Never mind the what was it called now? Never mind Buzzock. No, never mind the what was that called? Now it's driving me crazy. Sex. Yes, it was Never Mind the Bollocks. Okay, I was right. I was trying to think what it was called. It was escaping me for a little bit. Hey, 60s were pretty great. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Janis Joplin, Elton John, Leonard Skinner, um, a lot of that southern rock stuff. So, very valid point with all that stuff. Southern Cross, I can't think of the name of the band now. 60s, I mean, I guess every generation had some pretty great stuff. But as a huge fan of slasher flicks and horror movies, I have to love the 80s for that, if nothing else. I mean, sure, Marvin Gaye's incredible. One of the all-time greats. One of the all-time greats. I wonder if Google will know. I'm curious now. Let's see. 1980s. Oh, geez. So my favorite decade also had the most serial killers. I guess that's concerning. Um, but John Carpenter is incredible. Halloween. What can you say about it, right? Pronounced Isla Vena. Oh, you almost got me. You almost got me, studio, but not today. Cut or we're just gonna call you studio. Not today. Well, Theophilus, remind me to stay away from you. Apparently, if I'm around you, I'm attracting danger. I'm sure that was a big part of it. Yeah, I'm sure they had a hard time catching people. As, technology has gotten better, as technology has improved, certainly a big part of that, I think, is that we are seeing a reduction in crime, despite the fact that, people on the news will say otherwise, or people on YouTube will say otherwise. All the evidence shows a pretty significant reduction in crime since the 90s in most of the big cities. Um, don't tell people on who make a living, trying to create fear. But not saying crime isn't an issue. Of course, crime's a problem. And the thing about crime too is it's one of those interesting things where people don't really care about statistics. Like if you are walking down the street and are the victim of a crime, your first thought isn't, well, overall crime is still going down, so it's okay, right? Crime's one of those things where it's either there's no crime or there's crime, and people don't really think about in terms of relative terms. Um, oh yes, I mean the late '90s and early 2000s. It was a really interesting time, especially even in scary movies. There's a really interesting aesthetic which kind of started with Scream and bled over into the early 2000s. Might have ended with the Rob Zombification of horror in the later 2000s. That's true. Unfortunately, oftentimes people will try to sensationalize things to get more airtime, which you have to remember about that, right? Or in YouTube to get more views, to get more super chats, whatever it might be. So, why are they chasing you? I mean, if they're chasing you and you don't want them to, then uh, go to the police. Thank you, Ruiz. That's incredibly kind of you. Wow. What a wonderful super chat that is. Thank you so much. I never have any stress. I am too blessed to be stressed. Thank you very much. That's incredibly kind of you. Um, I mean, targeted in what way? I don't really understand um, what that means, right? Freemasons don't target individuals, so I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Yes, Gyro Ruiz does. That's incredibly kind of you, Gyro. So once again, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hyro, maybe. So that's incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. Um, I mean, I can search target individual. I've never heard of that before, so I'm not really sure what it means. What I would say though is it's important that you talk to somebody if you feel like you're being targeted by anybody. Here in Windsor, it's getting chilly. It's not cold yet, but I mean, well, it'd be cold for people not used to it. For me, growing up in Canada, this is not cold by any means. It might get colder, but it's not cold for me at the moment. Um, I was targeted by my wife. That can happen sometimes, but maybe your wife was right. So, listen to your wife. Happy wife, happy life. I don't know who to talk to. I mean, sorry. What I would say, Art, is if you do feel, or if you are being targeted, or feel you're being targeted, or pick your term, it's important you find somebody to talk to. Police, authorities, even a medical professional to talk about the mental and physical toll it might be taking on you. Beyond that, I'm sorry if there's not really much else I can help you with. I can say I've never heard of any Freemasons targeting any individual. That's not what we do. That's not what Freemasons do. It would honestly be counterproductive, right? It would bring us into disrepute. It would make people not want to join Freemasonry. It would not be of any benefit for us to be targeting anyone. Um, Close, Nadia. I am Canadian. A lot of times Canadians and Americans have similar accents. I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Congratulations, insert name. Um, then I'm very happy you finished work. Get yourself home, get yourself some food, and get yourself to sleep. That's what I always like to do when I get off work. Because it's your username, it's on the screen. Nadia Asiudu. I am not. How bad do I look? Um, but thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. I would truly, truly appreciate it. Lewis. I mean, here's what I will always say, right? I born in Canada. I love Canada. In my opinion, Canada is the greatest country in the world. However, part of the reason that Canada is the greatest country in the world is because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. And I truly believe that to be the case. So, um, I'll always say for me, I love Canada. However, I love the States as well. We have a lot of great brethren between our two countries. So, all right, Nadia, I feel like there's a lot of trolling happening with you. I think I have to put you in timeout. Um, I try not to, but could. I've never been to Australia, insert name, and I want to go there. Believe me, I think it'd be so much fun to visit Australia. Be a very long flight, which I enjoy, and then be in a new place, which I would love to be in. But hopefully soon. If I ever made it to Australia and New Zealand, one of my goals would be to be in the audience for Taskmaster, which is one of the best television shows out there right now, and it very kindly is being put on YouTube for free. So, what would you say are the attitudes of Canada and Australia that makes them similar? Oh, insert. You gotta check it out. Everybody should check it out. Check out Taskmaster. Canadian movie I will look it up. Eagle versus Shark. I will check that out for sure. Thank you for sharing it. Um, I look forward to. Is it literally about an eagle versus a shark, or what is it about? Adrian, I'm not going to make any promises, but if you do a $20 super chat, we shall see. Those are good traits to have. I'm not always the most easygoing guy myself, though I try to be sometimes. Australian movie, still, I'll check it out maybe. I don't mind romantic movies sometimes. My favorite is scary movies. That's what I love first. But then my second favorite type of movie are actually Hallmark Christmas movies. So those romantic kind of cheesy Hallmark flicks, especially during Christmas. Um, what is your favorite movie, Lewis? I'd be curious to know. Similar to Napoleon Dynamite, that movie, I said I don't like comedies as a rule, but that movie did make me laugh. So the part where he throws a football, hits the guy in the head while he's riding his bicycle, that genuinely made me laugh out loud, which is rare for me. I never watched the movie called I Spot on Your Grave. I did watch the movie called I Spit on Your Grave. I watched the original back from the 70s, and then I watched the remake, and then I watched the sequel. And I don't know why, because I did not like the original, nor did I like the remake, nor did I like the sequel to the remake, but I did watch it. Um, I mean, what I remember, so what happened is I read this book in university when I was in law school called, what was it called? Women and Chainsaws. It was about scary movies and the way females are depicted in scary movies. And they had a section of that book dedicated to I Spit on Your Grave. And reading it got me curious, and there happened to be a video rental store close to where I lived. If anybody does not know what that is, you're a child. Video rental stores were incredible. But there's one close to where I lived at the time, and I was in there one day looking at the horror section, and they had that movie to rent. So I ended up renting it, watching it, not being a big fan of it, but for some reason, I then watched the remake and the sequel to the remake. And I mean, I do kind of enjoy movies where there's a sense of tension. The problem with movies like I Spit on Your Grave is there's nothing you can do except at a certain point it just becomes too much, right? Like you're kind of putting yourself in a situation where the only way to make the movie work is to be more depraved and more depraved. And at a certain point it becomes almost I'm trying to think what the word is. Almost like you just stop caring because it just goes so far. I can't think what the word is that I'm looking for. Um, Somebody can think of the word for me, put it in the thing. When you stop being affected by something because it just is too much. Desensitizing. There we go. Desensitizing. Inception and Matrix trilogy. Um, oh, so I love slasher movies, Lewis. So I think you and I disagree on that one. When I say slashers, I love the fun slashers, like the Friday the 13th, the Child's Plays, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween's, the Screams, Urban Legends, all those ones. I definitely don't enjoy the ones that are gory for their own sake. Like I've never been a fan of the Hostel films. Never liked, I Spit on Your Grave, stuff like that. I will have to check some of this stuff out. I mean, oh, I have a pet, JJIA. My pet is named Bandit, and she is a cat, and she is the best cat in the whole world. So, you know. I'm ambivalent towards Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's not my favorite. Like, so the original, never really liked it. I enjoyed the sequels more. I really like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. I think they are very underappreciated, that movie. I liked the sequel. It's one of the few. slashers that has a lot of gore that I actually did enjoy quite a bit. I would say the Texas Chainsaw, it's of the all the slasher franchises, it's probably around the fourth favorite slasher, maybe fifth, but it's fun. I will say one thing that always cracked me up is in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Next Generation movie, which starred Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, we find out that the Hewitt family, if I recall correctly, are working for the Illuminati, which I always get a kick out of because if you've been on this channel, you know that many people confuse or think the Freemasons and the Illuminati are the same things, which is always a really funny. So I always get a kick out of that. Not a fan of Deliverance, not even a little bit. Same thing. It's just disturbing for the sake of disturbing. Well, I think Wolf Creek. I mean, a lot of those are based on true stories in a very general sense, or very loose. They use the term true story in a very liberal sense, as in true means, you know, it's kind of the same way Amityville Horror is based on a true story. Sorry, Sam, the Illuminati and Freemasons, when you say, have they ever worked together? Um, no, I mean, so famously, the Illuminati started because Adam Weishaupt did not like Freemasonry. He was a Freemason, and he left Freemasonry because he found it A, too expensive, and B, he thought it was not esoteric enough. So, well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one, a little bit. I don't think The Fly and Predator are science fiction movies. They are exclusively horror films. So I like you to say sci-fi horror. They have science trappings, but they are clearly horror movies. In the same way, Terminator is a horror film pretending to be a science fiction film. But they're great flicks, JJ. They are very, very good flicks. Um, I don't mind supernatural horror, but it's not. Again, I tend to go for the more slasher-based films than supernatural horror. Though I don't mind supernatural horror, it's not my first pick. Put it that way. Ran says, I don't know who. Do you mean Jocko Willett? Because I'm definitely not him. He's a lot tougher than I am. Having said that, thank you for being here. I hope it's going well. If you get the chance, please take a moment, hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. I hope that your day is going well, or your night is going well. I'll be ending this stream soon. Oh no, I gotta just get you on that one, Lewis. Um, Terminator is totally a horror film. It is 100% a horror film. I do not, Theophilus. I'm not one who believes in spirits or demons. The Man in Black trilogy? What's the Man in Black trilogy? You know what? My cat could be, or the Men in Black trilogy. The Men in Black. I like the first one. Not a big fan of the other ones. My cat could be a Freemason because when I was practicing my ritual, I practiced speaking it to my cat. So my cat has heard all the Masonic rituals. And actually, I did a podcast episode. There are Masons who join who are blind or disabled in some way and require a service animal, usually a service dog. And in many cases, the service dogs, if you become, let's say, a worshipful master of your lodge, they give you your apron and collar, and they'll give the service dog an apron and collar as well. So the service dog goes through the lodge chairs with the Mason. It's a cool little thing. You could probably create an AI Freemason. I would not recommend it. I did ask that question though. If an artificial intelligence asked to join a Masonic lodge, what would Masons say? Most said no. I might say yes. I'm not speciesist. I think there's probably a lot of value in AI and artificial intelligence. Freemasonry is huge in the Philippines. Insert name. I was just in the Philippines, and it's absolutely huge there. Um, it's a big part of their history. Jose Rizal famously was a Freemason. So yeah, no, it's very big in the Philippines. Manila. I was in Manila. Whenever I say Manila, I think of Jack Harlow, "Lovin' on Me." I'm Manila, baby, right? JJ, I would recommend the book Freemasonry for Dummies by Chris Hodap. It's a great book. It does a really good job explaining kind of the basics of what Freemasonry is. Um, so yeah, that's what I'd recommend. I don't know where Boracay is. I don't really know a lot about the Philippines. I was exclusively in Manila. I wish I could have seen more of it, but the people were friendly. The city was cool. I had a lot of fun. I mean, so my personal view is I'd rather they not, unless they are a Mason. Having said that, there's nothing one can do to stop it. Right? We don't have the right to stop somebody if they own the ring, however it is they came to own it, whether through a storage locker or otherwise, it's their ring, and they can choose to wear it if they want. But what I would say is that's why I'm always reminding Freemasons when you meet someone, even if they're wearing a Masonic ring or a Masonic shirt, don't automatically assume they're a Freemason. Still ask questions and learn more because people are finding rings in storage lockers. They're buying the rings because they like the way it looks. Sometimes they might wear a Masonic ring because they want to pretend to be a Freemason. More often than not, they're wearing a ring just because they like the design and don't even know what it represents. So just because someone's wearing a ring, it doesn't automatically mean they're a Freemason. And it's up to the Mason himself to do his due diligence on those things. Sorry, Lewis. I gotta disagree with you. It's clearly a horror film. That Terminator could be any slasher, from the way it walks to the way it acts. It could be Michael Myers, right? The fact that it's unkillable, like Michael Myers, it can take bullets and just keep walking towards you. It's stalking them, right? I mean, the way that Reese talks about the Terminator and the way that Dr. Loomis talks about Michael Myers, it's basically the same exact thing. Um, awesome. I have friends in the Philippines who are Masons as well. I always do a 1 a.m. stream, Pastor Sempa. I do a stream at 1 a.m. and a 1 p.m. Um, that is not how it's classified, but they are incorrect. It should be classified that way. It's funny, Lewis, because in the 80s, nice try, JJ. In the 80s, there was this tendency for you would have these, trilogies, and the first of the trilogy would be a horror film masquerading as science fiction. So, um, RoboCop was horror masquerading as science fiction. Terminator, Predator. These were all horror films masquerading as science fiction films. Um, then the second was nice try, Jonathan. Then the second was an action film masquerading as science fiction. T2 was action. Alien, another one, horror masquerading as science fiction. Then the second one comes out. Aliens is an action movie masquerading as science fiction. Terminator 2 is an action movie. RoboCop is an action film. Um, Predator 2 is more of an action film with some horror elements to it. And then the third went just completely off the rails, usually, and was almost more of a send up comedy ish approach to it. I did not know that, Pastor Semper. That does not sound. I thought the I don't know who wrote the Terminator, but I thought the Matrix was written by the Wachowskis. The Thing was a great movie. No, Jonathan, I will not turn around. Tell you what, if everybody on the stream gives me a 99-cent super chat, I will turn around. The 80s had a lot of great remakes of classical, like horror sci-fi films. The Fly, The Thing, The Blob, incredible. Critters was a great movie. Yes, I agree. It was right up my alley. I really enjoyed Critters. Honestly, though, this is gonna come as a bit of a this might come as a bit of a hot take, but I preferred Ghoulies to Critters. And actually, I really like Ghoulies too. Any movies that take place in like a fairground or a carnival, I really enjoy because I love carnivals. Um, my godchild just watched Rocky Horror. Um, I found out behind the parents' back, so don't tell the parents about that. I just found out about this myself. But Rocky Horror is one of those great shows, great movies, right? It's classic. Tim Curry, one of the greats. Absolutely one of the all-time greats. American Werewolf in London is awesome as well. Okay, this has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed this stream. However, I think I'm going to end this stream. Thank you, everybody, for the support. I'll be back on tomorrow, 1 p.m. We'll talk more about Freemasonry. I have some specific topics to discuss, so we'll go through it then. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night, and bye for now. Damn it, Janet, indeed. One of the best soundtracks ever. I agree with that as well.